Hello everyone, welcome to this video on the lines and angles in the geometry topic. This video is brought to you by Learning Made Easy team, a team of IIM grads in association with our e-learning partner GTCUBE Get to the Top. If you are watching this video in the YouTube channel, make sure that you watch these videos structured as part of a course in our partner's website gtcube.com/store, where you'll get to watch these videos and also get to practice a lot of questions based on these concepts that will help you understand these concepts better. So let's get started. So first let's understand what is an angle and how are they measured, right? So angle between lines or something. So angle is a measurement unit, right? How we talk about distance in kilometers, angles is something that we measure in degrees, radians, etc. So most probably we'll see in degrees. So it is like, if I say what is distance, right? So the distance is like, how do I define distance? So let's not get into the technical definitions per se, but again sort of say that the distance between these 2 points is given to be some in kilometers, meters, some unit, some value. So that's a unit of measurement for the distance, right? That's like what we call. So I'm not really good at defining the distance without using the word distance. Angle is something similar. So if I say what is angle between lines AB and BC, so we are talking about this part, what is the value of this? Again, why should this be so and so in degrees? Why can't it be something else? It's just the standard way, right? We have defined something as units in degrees. We call that the angle made around the entire circle is 360 degrees. We have a measurement tools like protractors, etc. we use to measure and sort of say that this is so and so, whatever the be 30 degrees, let's say, and that is a measurement system. How would I say the distance between these two is 10 kilometers? If I have a measuring tape which is made out of the standard units, and if I start from this point to go to this point, so I'll say 10 kilometers, that's why the distance is 10 kilometers. If I have a new unit called alpha, so it might be phi alpha based on whatever the definition for alpha be is instead of kilometers, right? So it's all about how we define the units and use that as a standard unit to measure stuff. So angle ABC, what do I mean by that? That's something that you have to understand. So AB is a line, right? And then BC is another line. So at the same point I draw BC. So the angle here is called angle ABC. That is what you need to understand. Sometimes we also call it only angle B. I only refer to this pivot point or the point around which that both lines are drawn, the common point. And if I say what is, let's say I draw things like this, PQ, RSAB. If I ask you what is angle PSA, what am I referring to? This angle PSA, right? I start from P, draw to S, from SA go to A, this angle is PSA. What about SRQ? Go from S, go to R, go to Q, right? That is this angle. That's how you measure the angles, right? So angle made by straight line is 180 degrees. That is, if I have a straight line, let's say AB, what is angle AOB? It is 180 degrees, right? This measurement is 180 degrees. How am I measuring AOB? A, I draw a line to O, from O I draw to B, because all of them are in a straight line, so the measurement has to be 180. This will also be 180 obviously, right? So just the point that which we have, right, ABC, if I say angle ABC, why should I count only this, why not this, right? Yes, you can also think in that way. Angle ABC, this is like the interior angle, this is the exterior angle of it. This is also supposedly called as ABC only, there is no difference, but it just depends on how they are referring to, and depending on the question. So in triangles I generally take interior angles, right? It all depends on the way the things are framed. Unless they specifically mention interior, exterior, generally they might be referring to interior. If they have an intention of referring to exterior, they would mention it specifically. So it just depends on the question, so just look at it carefully and solve it. So key point here is that straight line angle is 180. So if I say angle AOB, if I say let's say POB is 60 degrees, what should be this? If this entire thing is 180, that is angle AOB is 180, right? I'm just breaking that into two parts, right? This is 60 and this is whatever the other thing is. So alpha plus 60 has to be 180. So the other angle which I don't know should be 180 minus 60. You know, this should come to be very intuitive to you, okay? So if I say this POB is 60, so you should write it as 120. 180 minus 60 is 120. This should come to you very intuitively over time. I don't take time to figure out what should I do to figure this. Right? Using this we can do a lot. For example, if I say AOB and PQ, if this is 60, what is this? 120. Right? If that is 120, what will be this? This is also straight line, right? PQ is a straight line. So if this is 120, this has to be 120, 180 minus 120, 60. If this is 60, and again AOB is a straight line, so this has to be 180. So if this is 60, this has to be 120. So 60, 60, 120, 120. Around a point, the vertically opposite, right? Diagonally opposite points around a vertex would be same. That's what we generally call. There will be many properties that you'll get to see in books, but I would strongly recommend do not worry about them. Just understand the basic concept of this straight line being 180. You can find out everything, right? If I know this as 60, I can find out this to be 60 because 60 plus 120 is a straight line, 120 plus 60 is a straight line, 60 plus 120 is a straight line, so I can fill all these values. So it's much easier. You don't have to know anything complex in this. Just understand that angle made by straight line is 180. I can break it into 3 parts, 5 parts. Like this is 1, this is 2 and this is 3. All 3 have to sum it up to 180. If I have 4 parts, so this is 3, this is 4, 1 plus 2 plus 3, 4 is 180. Doesn't matter how many parts I break it into, the entire angle will be 180. Accordingly, each part can be found out. Right, that's the only thing that you have to understand. Angle around a point is 360 degrees, right? Like how a straight line is 180, so if around the point, so the entire angle, if it rotates, it is 360 degrees. Right, so let's say I give you this, right? None of them are straight lines, okay? OA, OB and OC. If this is 120 and this is 150, what is this angle? As I know, I just need to ensure that this plus this should be 360 because these are the sum of angles made around a point O. So 120 plus 150 plus whatever the angle 3 is, which I need to find. So angle 3 is, this is 270, that is basically goes that side. 360 minus 270 is 90. So this has to be 90. So now let's look at the angles in parallel lines. So generally, let's take this that AB is parallel to CD. So I mean this line and this line are parallel, and PQ is parallel to RS. Right? So let's focus only on PQ is parallel to RS now. That is, this line and this line are parallel, and then this is the third line, right? The third line passing through the two parallel lines. Around the third line, right? I mean around these intersection points, let me call it as I1 and I2, right? Intersection 1 and intersection 2. We can play around with the angles. First and foremost, let's only focus on this part, okay? That is AB cutting PQ, which is the straight line thing, right? If this is 30 degrees, so what should be this? The entire thing is 180, so this should be 150, right? 180 minus 30 is 150. Now AB is a straight line, this is 150, this has to be 30 and this has to be 150. Now I got these 4 angles around the point I1. 2 parallel lines, right, cut by a third line at points I1 and I2, let's say I1 and I2, then the angles around these points will be exact replicas. So that means 150, 30, 150, I see this, right? So this has to be 30. That's basically copy this, the entire thing, and paste it here. 150, 30, and this will be 150. See this again, 2 parallel lines cut by a third line at intersection 1 and intersection 2. Then this entire thing will be copy paste here, right, in the same positions. 150, 150, 30, 30, 30, 30, 150, 150. Right? Now, again, which are the 2 parallel lines I know? I know AB is parallel to CD. That is AB parallel to CD. Third line cutting is PQ. So if this is I1, this is my I2. So I just have to replicate this and copy and paste it here. So I'll get 150 here, 30 here, 150 here and 30 here. Similarly, AB and CD are two parallel lines and RS is the line cutting through that. Same replica, 30, 150, 30 and 150. Right, I am replicating this to this, or you can also look at these two parallel lines cut by third line, whatever it is, right? But just make sure that the logic is this: two parallel lines cut by third line at 2 points, then around these 2 points I just have to replicate all the 4 angles in both. Now, what is this angle? I guess some of you might have thought this to be 30, some of you are still looking how to find this. You might think this is 150 and this is 30 and this is 150. Replicate this here, but that's absolutely wrong, right? Why? Because read this point clearly. Two parallel lines cut by third line at 2 points is where the replication happens. So if I take this to be one of the point, if I take even this has to be another point, right? So PQ is the line that is cutting, right? CD and EF, are they parallel? No, right? They will be meeting at some point, right? If I extend these two, CD and EF are not parallel lines. As I said, the points around which the angles are replicated should be such that the two parallel lines are cut by a third line. But no, CD and EF are not parallel. Similarly, even if I look at this point and this point, they too are not cut by PQ such that AB and EF are parallel. No, AB and EF are not parallel lines. So that's why again I won't be able to replicate. Right? Very similar to this point also, right? This point and this point are cut by line RS. The CD and EF are cut by RS to get this point and this point. Is CD and EF a pair of parallel lines? No. Similarly, is AB and EF a pair of parallel lines? No. That's why I cannot replicate the angles around this point to this point. But definitely if I know this, let's say is 110, this has to be 110. These points replicate, yes. These two are copy paste. Why? Because EF is the third line cut by two parallel, PQ and RS are the two parallel lines cut by a third line EF. So these 2 points are points of intersection and hence they are going to be replicated. So if this is 110, this has to be 70, this is 110 and this has to be 70. So 110, 70, 110, 70, that's how I replicate exact copy paste around these 2 points. But these points have nothing to do with these other points. As I said, be careful of this point. Two parallel lines cut by third line and around those 2 points of intersection is where I can replicate, not every 2 points I see. So let's solve some basic problems. As we always recommend, pause the video, try the questions on your own and then look through the explanation so that you understand how we have solved, and if you have any doubts it will get clarified better. Find the value of x, y, z in the figure. Right, super easy. This is 55, this has to be 180 minus 55 because EC is a straight line. So 180 minus 55 is 125. Once I know this is 125, this has to be again 180 minus 125 because AF is a straight line. Or if I also look at around this point, this is 55, this has to be 55 degrees. So 180 minus 125 is 55. Or around this point, the angles should be same on the opposite sides. So this is 125, this also has to be 125, that is Z. Or AF is a straight line, 180 minus 55 is 125. So X is 125, Y is 55 and Z is 125. That's how you can solve them. Thus, find the value of X and Y in the given figure. So this is 2x, this is x, I need to find y. So if I say AF is a straight line, or maybe let's take that around this point, the entire is 360 degrees, right? So what will you do? 44 plus 2x plus y plus x plus 86 is equals to 360 degrees. So I add, I'll get 2x plus x is 3x plus y, 44 plus 86 is 130 is equals to 360. So 130 goes that side, 360 minus 130 is 230. So I'll get 3x plus y is equals to 230. This is one equation, fair enough. But is that sufficient enough for me to find both x and y? No. Two variables, I need to have two equations. Where will I get the second equation? Right? One way to look at is this: AF is a straight line. Right? So that means this entire thing is 180. So 2x plus y has to be 180. Right? So two equations I have, I can subtract 1 minus 2 gives me 3x plus y minus 2x minus y gives me x. 230 minus 80 is 50. So once I know this, so I can substitute back here. 2 into x is 100 plus y is 180. and y is 80. You can do this. This is all fine. Other way is, instead of this, what I'll do is this. AF is a straight line, so let me make this as 180. Right, this is 180. So 44 plus 86 plus x is 180. So 130 plus x is 180 and x is 50. Once I know x is 50, this is 50, this is 100. So I just need to do straight line is AF 100 plus this is has to be 180 minus 100. So y is 80. It's easier to do in this way than this algebraic approach. But yeah, whatever suits you. But make sure that you use the concept that sum of angles in a straight line is 180 degrees, around the point is 360 degrees. All of these are useful, points, axioms to remember and use. Now, AB is parallel to CD, that is this line is parallel to CD. PQ is parallel to EF and FH is parallel to QS. Find the value of x, that is this, right? So, I know this is x, this is 64. If I can find this entire angle, right, that is this angle, I can definitely get x. And that seems to be easier approach for me. So now, because this is 32, what should this be? This is a straight line, right? AB is a straight line, this is 32, this has to be 180 minus 32 is, that's 148. And if you see this, so AB is a straight line, FH and QS are parallel lines, right? So they're cut at this point. So the angles I see should be replicated here, right? So if this is 32 and this is 148, even this is 32 and this is 148. That means this has to be 32 and this has to be 148, right? Because as I said, these are the 2 points. FH and QS are parallel lines cut by a third line AB. So this is replicated, 32, 148, 32, 148. Done. Now, I need to figure out remaining things, which is very easy for me, right? What is this? This is a straight line, right? OQRS is a straight line. So this entire angle, let me use a different color. This entire angle should be 180 degrees. So this entire angle is 64 degrees plus x degrees plus 32 degrees. That is 180 degrees. So 64 plus 32 is 96 plus x is 180. So x is 180 minus 96, that is 84. So the value for x is 84, right? I don't need to know anything else other than this. This is just slightly overloaded, question basically with a lot of overloaded information. Simply just figuring out this 32 and 32 and this is straight line 180 is the way to solve it. But you can spend time in figuring out these angles and then sort of doing it. There's nothing wrong in that in a way. And if this is 32, AC and AB and CD are parallel lines, so this is 32, this is 32. So if this is 32, this has to be 148. So this is 32 and this is also 148. Once I know this is 148, this entire angle has to be 148 because these two are replicated around these 2 points. So then this is 148, so 64 plus x is 148. I do it, I get 84. It's all the same. It's just about how long a route, how much long would the solution take is the thing. So make sure that you understand this concept better. These are simple angles which are used in multiple places like the quadrilaterals, the triangles and all the places. So just make sure that you are comfortable with dealing with the angles, 180 minus, 180 plus, 360 minus, how to do parallel lines, etc. so that you can solve questions in the advanced topics better. So thank you for watching this video. If you're watching this video in the YouTube channel, make sure that you check out our full-length courses available for free at gtcube.com/store, where you'll get to watch these videos as part of the courses and also get to practice a lot of questions after watching these videos. Also do like our partners Facebook page, facebook.com/gtcube3. We're coming with a lot of content that would be useful for you. So if you follow the page, you will get all the notifications and that would help you get the updates. So don't miss that. Thank you for watching this video and let's meet in the next video.